Woo! You know what this big giant box behind me is? Oh, I think you know. I mean, you might not know, but it doesn't matter because it's my engine from Texas Speed. Oh, I'm so excited. Yep, look at how professional these guys are. You should have seen how I sent it to them. Literally just bolted to a pallet. I don't even know if we saran wrapped it. Do we even saran wrap it? Oh. Yeah, as you can tell, we're real excited. So let's just open her up. Let's fire it up. Fire it up, dude. Let's fire it up. Yes. Hey, what up, dude? Thank you.
Showing up?
All right, we got everything showing up today.
Oh, we have another thing right now.
Something else too? Ooh. Lots of stuff coming in today. Clutch from ACT. This was a fuel cell back from Fuel Safe to get freshened up. Pumps, foam, fittings, all that kind of stuff. And the fittings for the oil catch can in the back. That's a whole lot of dash 20 line there. That is a whole lot. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. But I think it is time we need to get this out and start hooking up all the accessories. Obviously, all the stuff in the front and get it ready to set in the car because it's go time. Ooh. We got the engine unloaded out of the crate and over here into our corner so that we can start working on it. Getting all the parts laid out. Checking out the new QuickTime bell housing to just kind of see how it fits, and obviously we got to put the clutch on. So there are a couple of steps that we need to take to getting the engine ready to put in the car. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on it. It's a great thing about LS is it's small, it's compact, but at the same time, a lot of stuff gets stacked on this thing. So the first thing that we're going to do is put the ACT twin plate race clutch on. And we're going to do that so that we can tighten the crank bolt because I don't care who builds it, I do that final tighten. I'm just really tweaky when it comes to that. That's my thing. That's what I do. So this is a kind of a custom setup, but only custom because this is 29 spline. Normal GM stuff is all 26 spline, and we upgraded a couple years ago actually in the S14 to 29 spline. The NASCAR guys started doing it because they were twisting input shafts. I started twisting input shafts, and then on the Corvette, I was twisting input shafts too. So Rick over at RTS made me a custom input shaft, and now we're back to the 29 spline stuff. So no more twisting of the input shafts. So let's get it. Let's put it on.
Okay, recording.
What did I say? Remember what I said? Turn the engine. Good?
Full view.
That's scary! That is so damn scary. But from experience, that's what you need to do to keep that crank bolt on. In all fairness, with this 10 rib setup from A&A, probably not, but with the cog setup on the 14, it was mandatory. You got to tighten the crap out of that because I have had it back out before. Green Loctite, which is retaining compound, plus all of my weight on that bar. Sketch. It's time to put the accessories on. As you can see, Santino already has the electric water pump going. This is the AC bracket. That is actually the oil pump bracket here. So the power steering and alternator bracket. I think it's, you could probably do either or.
something in
And where?
there. In there.
Some silicone. Yeah, this is the heater core, little blocky kit thing, and then after that we'll start putting on the supercharger and the secondary drive bracket. Things are moving right along. I just safety wired all the bolts on the Vortex supercharger, so that is ready to go on the engine. I do this just out of precaution. One time on the S14, I had some bolts loosen up, and ever since then I'm like, safety wire, safety wire, safety wire, and I haven't had any bolts loosen up, so that's just a tweaky thing that I do. But honestly, I think because I have a 10 rib and not a cog, that's a big difference in the whole vibration and everything. But wanted to show you guys this thing. This is a billet impeller wheel, so you can see all the machine marks in there. It's not a cast wheel like a lot of the other companies do, or a lot of the old turbocharger systems do. This is billet, real stuff. But yeah, getting the belt set up. You can see over here that we have the engine pretty much all dressed and assembled. There was a couple things that we needed to do. We needed to helicoil the power steering bracket because the threads got blown out, and then this little adapter bracket that allows you to run tall valve covers, that needed to get helicoiled, but we're just going to drill it out and put a nut on the back because those threads got blown out. It's just 2 years of slamming and changing alternators and not really caring. The threads start to take, especially if they're aluminum. So check your threads, make sure they're good. If they're not, helicoil it, do something. But I'm going to start routing the supercharger belt because you kind of set it on here, or actually I think you set it on the supercharger and then kind of feed it on to the engine. So I'm gonna go do that. We're getting close. Got the supercharger on, got all the accessories gone, got everything on, ready to go into the car. Look at this, thing's looking good. Next thing that we have to do though, right before, we're gonna take this off and put the engine lift plate on there so that we can lift it up and get it maneuvered and get ready to put in the car. So we're just cleaning up, just got to get my broom, sweep my pile, and we're ready to rock. Let's do it. Oh, all right, after losing the engine mount bolts and then finding them but being one short and just saying screw it and putting new ones, we're ready to go. The thing is dressed, the dry sump lines are all on and attached, bell housing, everything, it's good to go. Engine bay is prepped, so let's lift it and stick it. Are you recording? Yeah. Okay, down.
Watching the frame side.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, in. Damn, those fucking shaft mount Rockies?
That's nuts, dude.
Shaft mount Rocky Balboas.
That's the fucking type of shit when you see the motor that like a decent type, like, you know what I mean? It's a fucking
They look
strong,
crazy,
strong
huh?
shit, yeah.
Fuck, it's dope. That's way doper than my other shit.
With the rollerblades?
Fuck. It's some shit, dude. Some real shit right here. Hey, you know it's a good day when you put your new race engine in your race car. All right. Sick. So now is the time to start hooking things up. The lines, not the wiring because I'm still waiting for that, but I have the intake manifold over there that I have to put on. I just got my Holley fuel rail set up with my injectors, so I got to set the intake manifold on as soon as I have a second, tighten it all up. I got my throttle body over there ready to go, so yeah, it's pretty much just start hooking things up. That's where we're at. I'm definitely going to get to the point where I kind of run out of stuff to do because we're still waiting for the gearbox, but I have word that it'll be back in a couple of days, so that's good. But till then, I'm just going to keep moving forward, hook stuff up, have a couple of boxes full of parts, and yeah, be excited because I have an engine. I just zapped the intake manifold on, and I noticed on the way in that this is really close to the water pump. It's actually hitting. So I've been filing it, bolting it down, pulling it off. I don't know for sure, but maybe the LS7 version of this electric water pump is different, since now I'm using the LS7 intake manifold. I'm wondering if maybe that would just be trimmed a little bit. So I'm kind of at the point where I might start grinding the water pump, but I don't know. It's like grind the water pump or just keep filing the intake manifold. Intake manifold is super easy to file, but yeah, just thinking, what am I going to do next? Moving. I'm going to show you guys one of my little tricks. A lot of people do it, but this is something that I enjoy doing too. To zip tie the lines together and make them stay clean and organized. So I put one little guy going that way, you know, around the two lines. And then one is just going to go in between the two lines, but zip your zip tie that you just put on there. And it kind of gives it a separation, holds the lines apart, and then squeezes the zip tie together on the line. So then you cut that with your flushies. Bam. Holds it together, but also separate. Real nice. Oh yeah. You can see that's what I do on a lot of these lines. Zip, zip. We are ready to put the fuel cell in. Super stoked on that. There was a couple things that we needed to do. This is a fuel pressure sensor, but it's inside in the pressure pod because it has 10 psi head pressure in there. So that's a pressure sensor for that. I also had to change to a new wiring bulkhead because the other one was getting old and kind of cracked out. So we changed that, put our Deutsch on there, and this is ready to go. We're gonna set that in. We brought these carbon pieces down. This is the fan shroud, Spall brushless fans, and this is the air runout. So I'm gonna just plop this up there. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I see I'm missing some insulation there. Let me put some insulation first, and then I'll plop that on. All right, now we're good to go. Needed a little repair on that. Oh yeah! You liking this? You liking the tunes, dude? I got all the oil line plumbing done, so the only thing that I need to do before the system is completely sealed, which is what I want to do. Even though I'm not quite ready to fill it up and fire it by any means, I don't want to have open ports or anything, so I need to put the oil filter on the oil filter housing because all the plumbing is hooked up. Literally everything is hooked up other than having the one open hole. So I am going to fill the filter first. That is mandatory, just so everybody knows. You know, not every car you can do that because some filters, especially Japanese cars, the filters like on the side or upward or upside down, or whatever. But especially on a race car, if you have the capability, it's a huge filter, so you want to fill it up with oil. That way, when you fire it up for the first time, it doesn't take forever for the oil to get to the oil filter. So, I mean, obviously you want to do priming with the starter, with the ignition off regardless, but it's good to fill the oil filter, so let's do it. So for oil, we're using Lucas Oil 30 weight break-in oil, and for the filter, it's a K&N filter. This is we run a 3003. For the break-in oil, I believe it's important to have a break-in oil. This is a super high zinc content, and I like it that it's lightweight, so that as soon as you fire it up, it lubricates everything very easily. It's not like a 2050 or anything like that. It's when it gets warm, it's nice and thin and can penetrate and do everything that it needs to do, help seat the rings and all of that. So let's do it. Feel it. Feel it. Oh, oh, oh. I screwed that up. Trying to do it with one hand. Look at it, all oiled down the side of the filter. Got to pour it sideways like this with two hands. Oh, yep, oil all down the side of the oil filter. What a dumb. Alright. Let's try this again. I know. There we go. See when I can use two hands. Much better. Come on. Okay, it is time to put the fuel cell in the car. We got everything finished up last night, the wiring, all set, ready to go. That is where it goes. So we are just preparing to lift it up in there. It's a pretty easy fit. The only thing that is, it's not difficult, but you just have to know what you're doing, is hooking up the lines to the top, because you have to hook everything up through this hole. But it's nice because this hole is here, but you know, that hole was made to not hook up AN lines. I don't know why it was there. It's just there from the factory. So it's a little bit difficult, but if you know what you're doing and you hook them up in the right sequence, it's pretty easy. Good?
Yeah, you gone?
Make sure this fitting, this line is, just pull it out for now. Cool. All the wiring's good?
Yeah.
Alright. So the back line is best to just get on as soon as possible. So if you can get that on now, just thread it on. That should be the return. Or the vent, yeah, that's the vent. Cool, so we're gonna get these lines hooked up and then I will pick this back up. Check it out, got the two fittings mounted. Now we just need to do, this is the return and this is the feed right in here. Return and feed. You can see the feed that goes up and across the other side of the car. So just a couple more things to hook up. This is an exciting day. We got the man here.
What's
we
going
got Jay.
on?
He is laying in my brand new engine harness. So you can see it's getting fit up here. He still has a lot of terminating to do, but he's marking the harness, actually laying it in the car, which is super important because you can only do so much based off of measurements or with the engine sitting on the engine stand or any of that. Real time, set it in before you finalize it. That's the way to do it without a doubt. So he's getting close. Arms deep. This is the old harness here. Not that there was anything wrong with it, but it started off as a harness for a Holley ECU, and then we converted it to a Link harness. So there was some stuff that we did that maybe weren't exactly how they should be. So this harness here is built to the specifications of exactly what a Link wants. You can see here we tried like, okay, we're going to try this, we're going to try that, an extra pin here, an extra pin there. Just try to make it to solve some of the issues that we were having, but now it's nice because this will be like a secondary backup if we absolutely need it. If this thing catches on fire, at least we'll have that. But brand new harness here. Later today he's probably going to be working on some of the interior things, but he's got his workstation, all his wiring stuff, the spools, whatever the hell these are. I don't know what these are. Popsicle sticks or something? Tongue depressors?
Lint-free swabs.
Lint-free swabs.
It's for cleaning up the adhesive that we put around the boots.
Oh, you look like a doctor with these, dude. And me, I am going to get back working on the Miata. Last night I tacked these in, but didn't get much more done than that. So we got GD over here, he's stripping his dash. He cut out that door, he's gonna get cutting out on that door, and then I'm probably gonna start on some A-pillars. I like to get the A-pillars done right away, especially like first thing in the morning, so that I'm not tired and I'm on the ball. The rest of the stuff is easy, but A-pillars, you really gotta think. And you usually mess one or two up, so I'm gonna probably mess one or two up now.
You need to be on your A game for A-pillars?
A game for A-pillars.
That's what I thought I heard.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's get to it. All right, a little update. I got both of the A-pillars bent. There's the other one on the floor over there. And now Graham is painting the dash bar so that we can, that thing's kind of going to be permanent. With these Spec Miatas, you have to have them. You can't remove them. So he's going to paint it because they're always rusty and nasty. Because once we tack the A-pillars in, that thing's not coming out. So, while he does that, which he's not even doing, look, he's over there just chit-chatting. Chit-chat. I'm making this tube here for the rear X, and Jay is going over there on the harness. Let's see his progress. Oh, look at all these connectors on here.
Injectors, coils, temp sensor.
Oh yeah, moving along.
Moving along. I don't know how to do wiring.
Yeah, he's not a wiring guy. He has no idea what he's doing, by the way. Woo! It's been a hell of a week, honestly. I got this cage pretty much 100% done. I guess we got the cage pretty much 100% done. Yeah, I just finished this X door bar. I'm really, really proud of this. It's the first time that I've done this type of door bar where it's like a kicked out X into the door. Oh! It's pretty sick. But yeah, that side is done. We just had to remove it. This is just a straight X because there's no passenger seat in a Spec Miata, so that we can weld around some of these things. So the cage is done. It's there. It just needs to be welded and finalized, and then the car is pretty much in Graham's hands because he is going to be building this. This is his Spec Miata. But now it's cleanup time and then go home time. It's Sunday night, and I busted my ass all weekend. Still have laundry to do, and now I have to edit this video when I get home and a bunch of other stuff, normal person stuff. So it's time to clean up and head home. All I can say is that I'm stoked on how this cage turned out, and next week my gearbox will be showing up, so make sure you guys pay attention. I'll be posting about it on my Instagram, but also there's going to be a YouTube video about it, so look out for that because I am so excited. RTS 6XD sequential gearbox mounted to a Winters quick change. I'm stoked, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks, guys.